Hi Cancer, welcome to your December 2016 love reading. It's Raina here, and before I shuffle, well, I am shuffling the cards, but before I lay them out, I just want to tell you about an astrological transit that relates to love, which is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. Now, as the month begins, Venus will be in Capricorn, and that happens to be your opposite sign. So that's the seventh house, and that can be very good for any of you who have been having marital difficulties, and maybe you're going to kind of, I was going to say get back together, but it's more like, you know, have more smooth sailing, harmonious experiences. And then after that date, Venus goes into the eighth house, and it's more about the intimacy. You know, the seventh house is more about like that outer thing of like, we're a couple, you know, we're married, look at our marriage license. But the eighth house is more about the nitty gritty, you know, I was going to say the down and dirty, but it's not dirty. It's very beautiful, and it's very, it's not superficial. It's very deep. You know, it's the house that Scorpio rules. So there's a lot of intensity with the eighth house. It can relate to sexuality, but it can just relate to the, you know, the depths of your psyche, and getting to know somebody at that level, and falling in love with them in that sense. All right. Okay. I'm going to pick a clarifying card. Just because the Tower is like, you know, it kind of leaves you in a lurch because of what it represents. So that's kind of an interesting situation, to say the least. All right, the overall energy is the Six of Wands. There's some kind of a thing that you're celebrating. Now, this could, you know, not have to do with love per se. This could be a career success. A lot of times, because of the wands, it could be on the career front, but it's like taking your victory lap for some reason. Now, I get the feeling that for some of you, this may actually be a Leo individual, because I have in the past position the Strength card, which is associated with Leo, and this card is a card, the Six of Wands is a card of the fire signs. So whether or not this is an actual Leo, it could be something along those lines. But it's like, you know, it's like you really almost, oh, you know, it's so funny because I was going to say it's almost like the Chariot card, and then I see that I actually drew the Chariot card, because the Chariot card is about victory with opposing forces. So it's like kind of like you succeed, but you know there's a lot of challenges or distractions around you. The Strength card, when I see the Strength card, it's a lot like the Star card. It's a very positive card, but you know, in order to say, well, you know, you really are being very strong about something, it means that there must have been some kind of challenge, and you overcame the challenge. Obviously, for some people, like if I was going back to what I was talking about with the Venus, if let's say you had a spouse who cheated, I'm just throwing it out there because that's such a common thing, and you decided to work on the relationship, well, the Six of Wands could be that you were victorious because you persevered. You summoned up, you know, that energy inside of you to kind of deal with whatever the anguish that infidelity causes, because you had a higher picture, you had a higher vision for your relationship, and you were willing to you know, sacrifice your own feelings in order to make a situation work. And of course, it's not always going to be like that, but I'm just saying that for some people, it may have been something very challenging within the relationship that you overcame. Another example would be if you had a spouse who had an addiction, like alcoholism or other type of drug addiction, and you stuck with them because you loved them, and they got help from themselves, and now they're doing well. And that's the victory. It can be all kinds of things. A lot of times people assume that when relationships break up, it's just because the other person's a bad person, and it's not true at all. Sometimes people have problems, but their problems become the other person's problems, and the relationship is really in trouble because of that, and it causes the other person a lot of grief. But it seems like you have a lot of good vibes happening in December, and then the energy coming in is the Page of Cups. So this is kind of like an innocence. Because the cards are really positive, I don't see it in a bad sense. The Page of Cups can indicate someone who is being very naive about a situation. But it can simply be that you are, just cleaning the slate, I would say, so to speak, because pages relate to children. So it's almost like if somebody did something, let's say, cheated on you, you're going to clean the slate. You're going to wipe the slate clean. You're not going to throw it in their face. You're going to, because if you decide to stay with somebody after they betray you, you can't do that effectively and still hold on to resentment. So you have to kind of somewhere in your mind be able to get to that place in your head where you can maybe see their vulnerability at the time, or somehow make it not okay what they did, but understandable what they did. And that way it allows you to forgive them. The Page of Cups can also relate to children. This could be a Pisces. I always see a Pisces because there's a fish. Ah, I didn't want to do that. Fish jumping out of that cup. But it could be any kind of water sign. So if this is another person, this is going to be either a fellow Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or they have that dreamy nature, that naive kind of nature, artistic nature, which this could be an artist. But it could be, that somehow a child was figuring into your decision as well. The higher message is the Chariot. So you did it, and this is your card. This is associated with Cancer. I thought there was a crab on this fellow. Maybe that's on the... Well, you see he's got moons, half moons, like on his shoulders. So that's your ruler, and he's even got it on his, whatever you call that, trident, or whatever the thing is. So it is, it's connected to Cancer. I do feel that you did whatever this thing was. You met the challenge and you made it through. It could be that the person, maybe there's a person who is a Leo or a fire sign, and then there's and I should have said, did I tell you Aries and Sagittarius are also fire signs? And maybe there's a fellow Cancer person that is the right person for you. Maybe you're kind of not sure of which one to decide to be involved with. The Cancer person, or maybe they have a sun in Pisces and a moon in or rising sign of Cancer. That person is probably more appropriate for you according to the higher message. What crosses you is the Ace of Swords. So something is having a hard time getting off the ground. Since this is a love reading, we could say it's relationships, or maybe some kind of communication that is delayed. We are having Mercury retrograde in December, around the 17th or so. I need to go back and check on the exact date of that, because that can kind of create communication gaps for some of you in relationships. But for others, that card may relate to just a feeling of not having that clarity to make a decision. So if you're involved with two different people, and I did want to say, since somebody said, it's always wrong to get involved in extramarital relationships. I'm not, I do not endorse cheating on your spouse, even if they're being a jerk. I really don't. I think, you handle it like an adult, and you just handle it head on, and you say, you're not, if you try to make it work and the other person is still being a jerk, then you say, well, I tried, have a nice life. But I do think that there are extenuating circumstances. Sometimes people really are feeling like they are trapped in a marriage, and that person becomes their bridge to get out of it, actually. And it could be an abusive marriage, a marriage where the person feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel in any case. And so someone comes along, and that makes them feel like they have something, going with life, even if it's not with that person. So I can't just, across the board say, okay, you're just a complete scumbag if you have an affair, because I realize that people do things to get their needs met. And that's just the bottom line. They may not be the best things for themselves and other people, but they may mean well. They may not have meant to get involved with some extramarital affair. But in any case, if you are choosing between two people, you may have some kind of a lack of clarity or communication breakdown that's preventing you from moving forward in this decision and in the relationship. The advice is the Four of Wands, and so this can indicate that if you're going to make a decision, choose for whatever it is that's going to give you happiness, a happy family, a peaceful family. The number 4 indicates, those roots. So who's going to be the stable choice, the person that you can really make something happen with? Sometimes affairs feel very exciting if you're in a very dull and long, a relationship that may be dead. An affair seems very exciting, and you can get hooked on that, clandestine behavior, the excitement of it. But it's not. It's kind of like drama versus passion in life. It's kind of generating this false sense of excitement that is actually destructive in nature. You are somebody that, even though this is a Wands card, you are somebody that really resonates with wanting a peaceful abode, a happy home. That's totally what you're all about. You love nesting. I'm sorry I'm doing this. I'm just trying to get the best angle. You love nesting. You love, making a comfortable, beautiful home and having a marriage partner. This can also indicate your marriage partner getting married. Some of you may decide to get married. Maybe you've been kind of holding off because you've, been divorced and you didn't know if you'd even want to get married again, and now you decide you will. Now, everything's been going so nicely, right? And then we get the Tower card. So what in the world would that mean? Well, I did draw another card so we could get a little clarity, and it was a good card to draw. So I'm hoping that this sudden event, unexpected event, will be something that makes you feel like you're kind of catapulted into something much better, and a whole new. See, I'm getting another ace. So there's many possibilities. What it could say is that if you're still, involved with maybe more than one person or what have you, something along those lines, there might be something that comes out that kind of when there's a sudden strike of lightning, and then it just everything cools off all of a sudden. It was really building. So somebody else may decide for you what happens. In other words, maybe you're cheating and you'll be caught. And even though, oh my God, you're caught, it like totally clears the air and now you can move forward. Because this is about not having the air cleared. You know, the Ace of Swords in a challenge position is about something that communication cannot be, you know, it's not in a free-flowing way. There's a blockage. And now we have the Ace of Wands, starting a new thing enthusiastically, a new relationship, but a passionate relationship. Something that you can really feel is something to get excited about. Now, again, it could be with a Leo person, since I did get the Strength card in the past, but maybe with a fire sign person in general. So, very interesting. We'll see what transpires. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed this, Cancer. If you would like a private reading, a love reading that's for you, I look at your natal chart primarily when I do this type of reading. I use the tarot in a supplemental way, and just gives you a different insight into the situation. So otherwise, there's a link below to my website, but otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful December. Take care of yourself. Bye.